from Fox 11.
Very slow-moving accident. Basically, they went from 0 to maybe a couple of miles an hour, so hopefully there are no injuries. Now there's another vehicle starting to pursue this one. You can see right there, this Cadillac, at least keeping up with the car, and you can see that window down again, and you know that that guy has air conditioning, and there you go again. Some yelling, some pointing, and you can kind of get a feeling that that gentleman behind the wheel, you know, I just get that construction worker vibe from him, if that is a thing. So maybe this is another person that is part of that company. But right now, though, that big truck not stopping, and you can kind of see what kind of power that thing has, as you saw earlier on, where it just pushed its way through that other car. You had that woman pulling up next to him. There was a discussion going on, and he did slow down, but clearly the driver of this truck this morning has a plan, has some sort of issues, and is continuing to drive in the valley out here. Now we're going to be in the Canoga Park area.
So, Stu, you couldn't see the video we were playing, but you saw it happen live. If we can show that video once again, because now that we saw that woman who tried to pull over next to him and was trying to speak with him and had a conversation. Okay, so if you look on the right side of your screen is what happened earlier. So pay attention here. You will see him push that vehicle, that blue vehicle, out of the way. But notice the car, you'll see in a moment, right there. That is the woman.
That's the woman.
Who in a few moments came up, pulled up next to him, and they began to talk. And now we're just speculating here, but it seems like she might have pulled up next to him saying, hey, what did you just do? Right. You can't just hit the vehicle and go, keep driving. What is your problem? I'm just assuming that's what happened
And
there.
now we're seeing some black and whites behind this car after the damage that he did to the one vehicle, and then it looks like people in this neighborhood, whether they know him or not, are trying to get involved. So you don't want to have civilians involved in cases like this. So it is a good thing that police are now on his tail.
That's right. And, the helicopter above it, hopefully they were watching us on Fox and they kind of saw what was going on. But, the lieutenants, the bosses, as it would be, that at the LAPD Devonshire Division basically said, hey, we have to reinstate this pursuit. Now, the only thing that these guys and gals are in those vehicles behind him can really do is lights and sirens, and basically keep the public away from that vehicle, so we won't be seeing any more of what we just saw. As far as stopping that vehicle, well, they definitely have spike strips, but are they going to do a pit maneuver? Probably not. You saw how that big truck just pushed that other little car out of the way. Yes, those LAPD cruisers, they probably weigh a little bit more, but you got that trailer involved, so it's not, they won't be able to use their vehicles to bring this thing to a stop. They might be able to use spike strips. You can see him making a U-turn right there. We're on Topanga Canyon. We're going to be in the Canoga Park area. I'm going to get a little bit of a wider shot just to get an idea where we are, but you can see it right there. LAPD back in pursuit, the helicopter above it. They are making those calls, and how they're going to stop it, that's the big question, because it really is just up to that driver. That driver's going to have to bring this thing to a stop peacefully and safely, because if he doesn't, if he makes poor choices, somebody could definitely get hurt. And you saw the power of that big truck this morning. And again, there's somebody right there. Those are going to be some camera people, some other folks just in the roadway. So clearly a lot of people knowing what's going on. Very slow-moving pursuit this morning. LAPD, they're tasked with how to keep the public safe and how to stop that vehicle from just continuing to move along these roads.
Crossing traffic, crossing lanes.
There's a spike strip.
Now. Oh. What's that?
Oh, that was the spike strip.
That was the spike strip.
It didn't look like. Did they get it?
Yeah, they get. No, they didn't get it. The guy gave him, I'm hoping he's going to get a pat on the back at least when he gets back to the station, but that definitely didn't get that underneath the vehicle. And you can see that what they have to deal with. Now they're starting to deal with traffic out here this morning. This is Topanga Canyon Boulevard, so it is going to get busier. And it looks like, I'm looking out the window just kind of grabbing where we are, looks like we're heading towards, Warner Center and Ventura Boulevard. So the traffic might get thicker, or there might be more vehicles out there on the road. That's going to make that maneuver a little bit more difficult. But LAPD definitely trying to be proactive, trying to find a way to bring this thing to an end peacefully. But again, how do you stop a monster truck like that with all that weight and power when all you really have right now is hoping that driver makes a good decision, brings it to an end, and or they use the spike strips and just try to get at least some flat tires. But is that going to stop it? Well, we're going to have to wait and see.
I mean, who knows? Yeah, but this much is clear. He's kind of limited in where he can go in that thing, right? Just by the sheer size of the vehicle.
Definitely, and hopefully we're not going to see any high speeds. Hopefully we're not going to see any dangerous maneuvers. That truck definitely the type of truck to pull a heavy piece of equipment like that, which is basically just a giant diesel engine and a pump. That thing pumps concrete, and they use these in a lot of construction sites. So that is a heavy piece of machinery right there, and that truck looking pretty new. I would venture to say, like I said earlier, some sort of V8 diesel in there. So that thing has got a lot of power, and you can see there's that suspension. That is a big truck. I would probably a full ton at least, if not more. So that is a big pickup truck. And right now, LAPD, what can they do? Well, lights and sirens, warn the public, and then try to keep people away from that suspect. And hopefully, it'll just come to a peaceful end with that truck just pulling over.
Yeah, I was noticing the road kind of seems a bit empty, but that's because now there is a heavier police presence visibly where you can see it. So that's prohibiting drivers from maybe getting near this vehicle, keeping the public out of harm's way as much as possible. As you were talking just a moment ago, it seemed like he was looking for something or going through the glove compartment.
It's kind of what he's doing right now.
Like fiddling around with something. Do you see that?
Yeah, it looks like he's doing something there on the dash. See if we can get it a little bit closer and see what we can see. Up, he's making a turn. I know we're over by the mall out here. This is going to be by the Westchester Mall off of Topanga Canyon, and you can see him making that, just making a U-turn again. Don't know if that's a phone or maybe I hope it's not I don't hope it's not the radio, but it'd be really weird if he was just trying to get some kind of music on. So I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's just trying to get some directions. Maybe he has a plan. Again, we just don't know what the players were involved in all this. You can see that one LAPD unit getting ahead of him, and that might be to try to block traffic and or throw that spike strip out again. Let's see what happens right there.
Yeah.
Whoa, this guy is, he's just not having a good day. Not having a good day. But
I think
you
it's
can
too
see
late.
that
It's, he kind of made that move a little bit too late. It's easy for us to judge what's going on from where we are, but it's tough. I get it.
Very tough, but you got to give him all the credit for that effort out there. And you also got to think too, Samada was talking about all that heat. It is a hot day today, and now these officers, they're basically running back and forth out here trying to get ahead of that truck. The big plus is he's driving freeway speeds, and it doesn't seem like this might be some sort of vengeance type of thing, like he took that from his boss. But at least it doesn't seem like he's, trying to hurt anybody. And as long as that stays the case.
It seems like he's slowing down, Stu. We also have to remember, we don't know, the vehicle could be out of gas at some point.
That is true. Atomic concrete.
He's checking out it seems like there might be something wrong because he keeps looking at the tires.
Yeah, he's just looking. Maybe he's just double checking everything right there.
But yeah,
that's an F550, so that is probably more than a full ton of truck right there, and that thing can move quite a bit. And we saw it earlier on as it just pushed that other car out of the way, driving very, very slowly. I hope he's not trying to taunt officers, because we definitely don't want to see that at all. I would venture to say that that's going to be Canoga High School right there in the shot, and yes, it is. And he's just kind of just moving super slow along Topanga Canyon this morning. LAPD, they're in force right behind him. And what can they do? Well, we saw them. They're going to try to get those spike strips out there. But again, you saw that effort. You saw that officer try to get ahead, throw that spike strip out there.
Now he's at a full stop.
Kind of full stop. And you just got to, I just got this weird tension that he knows he made some bad decisions, and now he's like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah, he's probably trying to figure out what his next move might be, because it doesn't really seem like he has a direction, right? He's been making circles.
Is he on the phone? It looks like he's talking, like maybe he's on speakerphone.
Yeah, I hope he's talking to somebody on the phone. Either that or he's talking to the demons that are following him around. You can see right there, he's like looking in the mirror, and he's like looking, I don't know. Let's see, there is nobody out on the roadway right there, because it does seem like he was talking to somebody maybe on the sidewalk, and now he's looking behind him. So, yeah, this is this is unusual and getting more and more strange as the time goes on.
So we see that on the side of the road where he is driving, not many cars. Obviously, the public is thankfully out of harm's way in that sense, unless he turns around and does a U-turn, which he did a moment ago, goes the other way. But it does seems like he's communicating with someone, whether he's on the phone or just his gestures, right? We're judging him by his gestures.
Yeah, that's all we can do up here in Skyfox. We can't really hear what he's saying clearly, but we can kind of watch his attitude, and it does definitely seem like he's getting a little frustrated, a little irritated. And again, you know, the answer is, if he is possibly listening or watching us right now, just pull over. That's going to solve all the problems. And whatever got you there, they're going to be able to work it out, and then hopefully you can make some right decisions and just, you know, continue on your life without hurting anybody or creating more of a problem than it is right now. LAPD, their problem right now is how to stop that massive truck without any injury to any people, and you can see they've got 4 units right there. But those are the ones that we see. I have a feeling that there are other ones in the area ready to help out when this thing comes to an end, and if this person gets out and tries to run, then they'll be in the area and they can set up a containment or take that suspect into custody. Helicopter above, not just us, LAPD's here as well. That's the officer making the calls down there, letting everybody know where they're at, the direction, the speed, and exactly what's going on every moment. So all the officers on the ground are tuned in. There's one of the ones that I was talking about. There are going to be a lot of other LAPD in the area just kind of hanging out, as it would be, to see if they can help and not getting involved in that pursuit unless they are needed to, meaning if something happens, this dynamic changes and they need an extra officer, they'll be there to help their brethren. Right now, though, it's still back to that watch and wait, and hopefully this person just does not make another bad decision.
Stu, can you set the scene for us and remind us how this whole thing began for our friends who are just joining us?
Jen, it was so fluid in the beginning. We were kind of figuring out, is it a pursuit? Is it not a pursuit? They used the terminology